can discuss internally if you have any questions or recommendations or suggestions. And I believe that that's the big picture. I believe that we are ready. Our equipment, as Ms. Barber indicated, we've started mounting. You've probably seen a lot of the vehicles already have the plows and the salt spreaders mounted. But because our inventory is kind of aged, we have to make sure that these things are still working when we put them on. So that's been a pretty rigorous process to make sure that things are working. But vehicle maintenance and the mechanics have been working diligently, and we feel very comfortable about where we are at this time.
Do we have any plans to buy any new trucks for this snow season? I know the last one that we brought has been some couple of years now. Is there any plans to buy any new snow equipment this year?
I'm going to let Ms. Barber respond to that.
Okay.
I do know, in talking with the mayor's office, we've been trying to get some equipment together. I'm not sure how much I can elaborate on that, but there are plans to get a few trucks that we can afford. And then I'm, of course, searching for money to see where we can kind of move something around to get some equipment that may be needed. I know that they were like without a lot of things last year before we came on this year. So we've been diligent at trying to get money for what's needed. So I think we've done a really good job of that. And I am waiting to hear back from mayor's office on any type of new vehicles.
Yeah, I asked that question because once snow falls, everyone start grabbing up things, and you limited what you can get at that time. So I want to make sure we put that out there now, because I know there's a need for equipment. Anything we can get is a plus.
Yeah, I know they are in conversation with new vehicles out there. I just don't know how far that process has gotten, but they know that we are in need of them, and they haven't failed to come through yet. So.
Okay. Mr. Vicari, can you shed some light on what your role is inside the snow removal inside the city? You're muted there.
Sorry, GSD, yes, for numerous years, we have taken the role of taking care of the Black Oak neighborhood. So we have about 6 plows that we assign to the Black Oak neighborhood. We also have the bigger triaxle dump trucks with large salt boxes on them that are primarily used to clear Airport Road. And while that seems like that's not a big deal, it's just one road, it's 4 lanes wide. We do get a big snow, you have to have that bigger machine. And also, anytime there's a big north or south wind because of that open area over there by the airport, it could be days after it snowed and the road is drifting over. So we'll go ahead and clear that even on non-snow days. Plus, it's close to the district, I think a little bit for convenience, and also because we have the equipment to take care of it.
So basically, you cover from the airport into the Black Oak area. That's
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. And I do have a couple of questions I want to ask in general. The no parking signs, I see there's a different type of sign, say Mercy Route. Then there's another sign that's, I don't know if it's still out there, but I know it was out there, 6 feet and over, it's emergency snow route. Can you all elaborate on the different signs, or are we going to one particular sign inside the city?
Rachel, you want to elaborate there? I know there was a change out of some of the signs.
Yeah, I'm Councilman, my understanding, the snow, are you distinguishing the no parking, just the ones that you see? I believe it's 2 inches.
Well, yeah, I believe one says 2 inches or more, but it's a new sign that's out now, say emergency snow route. Because we are live now on multiple streams of social media too for the public and Channel 4, I want to let the public know exactly when these signs are out. Are we designating a certain time of the year not to park there, or is it just going to be a designated time once snow fall? We want those areas clear.
Yeah, now and this is just my understanding. I think we're gonna have to circle back to our traffic manager to get you an exact answer. The signs that are up, just as a matter of course, so long 8th Avenue, 7th Avenue, no parking when snow is 1 or 2 inches. I believe that to be different from the snow emergency parking routes. And those are enforced when there is a snow emergency declaration. So it can expand beyond just the normal routes, and that's completely driven by the conditions. Theoretically, any road could turn into that so that we would be able to get through and have access to clear the roads. That is very, very clearly spelled out in the plan, Councilman Brewer. So you'll have that information. And if there is a difference between those signs, I know that the traffic department has been updating those signs. So I really want to give you an informed answer on that distinction. So I'll make sure that I have that ready when we meet next week, okay?
Okay. And
All
my
right.
last question is about the tonnage of salt that we have on hand, 200 tons that we have on hand. What is the average that we go through during the snow season?
It just depends. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Rachel. You can take
Yeah,
it.
I mean, there's no way. So what we've contracted for through the state, Cargill is the provider. And as you know, we get delivered out of LaPorte. So what we have contracted for is 5,000 tons. The requirement is that we are financially obligated to get 80% of that, right? And we can exceed that by 20%. So that's kind of the parameters that we're working with. I got to tell you, it just depends on the snowfall. Now, my experience, and I'm only 2 years, this is will be the third winter and working with this, is that has been enough. The challenges that we have faced is delivery. I know GSD has had to step in on a couple of occasions and be able to get an order for us. Oftentimes, when the weather is inclement like that and they're inundated with orders, we kind of sometimes are at the bottom of the delivery list. So our goal is to go ahead and procure as much, maybe even as much as half up front, because with the COVID, that's probably just going to just delay things even further. So our goal is to get at least half of it inside. And, you know, it just kind of depends. I mean, how much we use will be completely driven by what the winter weather looks like based on all the projections and forecasts. It's not supposed to be that much snow, more in the form of rain, but ice can be just as, if not more, perilous than the snow. But in my experience, that has been an adequate amount. It's just been the delivery schedule that's created challenges in the past.
And I do know there are major concerns where we house the snow at. How we're making sure that if we get more than what we would need at a time, how we make sure that the elements don't get to it before we can use the snow.
That's a great question. You want to take that, Ms. Barber?
Okay, so one thing is that we kind of have salt brought in as we are using it. We have looked into maybe the purchase of a new salt dome to see what that looks like. We did do that. I just got that back though last week, so it came back with some specs and the pricing. So we just got that back because we do realize some kind of way we do need a salt dome.
What is the price general run on something like that?
It depends on the size that you purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got somebody that's working with us to try to see what we need to maybe house that 5 tons and see what we can do and come up with. But like I said, that just came back at the end of last week.
But in the meanwhile, Councilman, we were able to get some tarp, because you know where it is and you know the
Yes.
structure where it's currently housed. We may have to invest as a short-term solution, some more tarp to kind of secure it until we can get a permanent solution for that. But that is an ongoing challenge.
Okay. And have we looked at either partnering, and I think I brought this up maybe last year, about partnering with the schools to possibly do some type of cutout in one of the old schools where a gym or something of that nature, where the ceiling is higher, where you can maneuver inside,
We did.
possibly.
Yeah, we did. We took a couple of field trips actually to a couple of locations. I can remember specifically at the I think they had suggested the old on 10th Avenue, the old building. I think it's being demolished now, as a matter of fact. But that was a building, the old service center, maybe the.
Oh, yeah, has a new owner now. Yes.
Yeah, but we did take a look at that. We may have looked at one other location, but that didn't really go anywhere in terms of looking to partner with the schools on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this will be my last question here about the contractors. I would just request that we make sure all the contractors that we use and have some type of logo on the side, letting people know that those are vendors or contractors for the city pushing snow, so that way they can be monitored more than just a few people. Because as we release people, and I know we have the GPS, I guess we're still using the GPS system. But I think it will serve if they will make sure that they have the proper lights on the vehicles, and also a sign letting people know that they are contractors for the city removing snow.
Okay, and as you said, we do use the GPS, and typically contractors are normally paired with our folks. But I take your point, and those are things that we will raise when we have the contractors in next week to assess their equipment.
Okay. At this time, I open up for my colleagues. Councilwoman Brown.
I just have one question. Hi, Ms. Caesar.
Hey, Ms. Brown.
I only have one question, and that one was, are we, or do we ever go to an outside company, say like a US Steel? If we need additional snow, are we able to go to someone like US Steel to provide us with additional snow? I mean, additional salt.
Right. Councilwoman, I don't know the answer to that historically. Okay. That's certainly, worthy of looking at. So we'll note that. I think we should have as many partners as we can, especially local ones going forward. So I will duly note that.
Okay, I was just curious,
That's a good point. Yeah. Sure.
Councilman Brewer.
Councilman Witherspoon, yes.
Thank you. One question I have is in relations to the signs that are 2 inches of snow or more, of course, no parking. Is there any plan put forth as it relates to the enforcement of that? Because I know that can be a problem, in particular, and most of those signs are located on main streets and avenues. But I know that can also be especially a problem on Fifth Avenue, West Fifth Avenue, because the apartment complex that you have there, a lot of residents that will park on the street, and it makes it very difficult to plow. When I was there, we used GPD, and they were able to put notices out to those individuals when we were dealing with severe snows, and of course that helped and allowed the state to come in and actually go curb to curb. So, do we have any plan as it relates to enforcement of this of the snow routes, the no parking?
Yes, that is in the category of police. In addition to assisting with plowing and emergencies, that falls under Commander Colbert. Brian Colbert oversees that. And just like you described, when we know we're especially a heavy snow. Now, one of the challenges that we have, because people want to know, well, where am I supposed to park? We actually had an agreement with the schools whereby some of those folks were able to park at Horseman. So that's something that we're going to be looking at, trying to help them get alternative parking solutions. But the enforcement piece is still Gary PD.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else with questions at this time? Well, I thank everyone for joining. I want to have this meeting here so I make sure that we was all on the same page. And if there was any question that any council members had they can.
Councilman Brewer.
Councilman Dwight Williams.
Thanks. Hey, are there any particular snow routes we'll have for the precincts for removal?
Say that again, Councilman.
Are we going to have a particular snow route for removal of the snow in certain areas?
Absolutely. You're going to have all of them. So in your plan that you're going to get next week when we meet with the snow partners, it lists the entire city broken down by snow routes. There are a total of 11. And so you will know all of the roads that are contained within each route. They're further delineated by priority, the main thoroughfares, of course, the secondary roads, and then tertiary or alleys in the event of a major snow event. So yes, that is spelled out in a number of different ways for you, Councilman Williams.
Okay, will that plan include if it's contract workers in those areas, know who they are?
No, because we won't know. See, that you got to realize or just remember that a lot of this, hopefully we never need contractors.
Hey, Dan, I got the passcode and all that. Is it the same dial-in number as?
So we know that won't include the contractor information. The only thing that we would have up front is who our contractors are, what their capacity is in terms of, their equipment, whether they can plow, whether they can plow and salt. But, all things being equal, we hope to never need to activate them. So that would be determined at the actual real-time snow event, which is also an attachment to your snow plan, because a plan is just that, a plan. But once we are dealing with a real-time snow event, we have a deployment plan that gives what the conditions are on the ground and what it is we're doing now, which could deviate from the plan. So, it's kind of situational at that point. But no, you won't have contractors assigned prematurely, if I understood your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Is there any other questions by anyone else? All right. Well, I thank everyone for taking our time. I thank the administration team for joining us this evening and giving us all this good information. I think it's very important that we be prepared. And I think moving forward, I think we should have a very productive winter season. Hopefully we don't have the snow where we won't have to use all of this good things, but just in case, we want to be prepared. Look forward to getting that snow plan. I think that will help us out a lot in the information, make sure we're pushing that same information out to our residents also too. But one last thing I would like to make sure that we add to contractors, to citizens that's removing snow, to make sure that no one's pushing snow into the middle of the street, which that create a hazard all by itself. So I think that should be something that we all make sure we're pushing that.
Absolutely, and that is part of the plan. And I tell you, who's notorious for doing that is Methodist Hospital.
Oh.
So we need to, they need to blow back onto the road, onto the, not the street. So yes, that is included.
Would they be part of that conversation next week, Methodist Hospital?
No, but it's not too late. Maybe just for purposes of that, they should be included. So I will reach out to them, Councilman Brewer.
Okay, and I'll use the contact that I have for U.S. Steel to see what we can, information we can get back to Councilwoman Brown's question earlier too.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good idea to reach out to the hospital for your meeting.